Hi everyone, this is Roho the Cat, and today we're going to learn how to build this fully automatic bone meal farm. The farm will generate around 1.5 stacks of bone meal per hour. The items required are listed in the description to this video. Without much further ado, let's get into the build. We will start by building the droppervator circuit. Place a block and on top place 2 droppers facing upwards and then a third one facing off to one side. When you have the face of the top dropper facing towards you, place a dispenser next to it facing up towards the sky. Go back round to the side furthest away from the dispenser and at the base place a grid of 3x3 building blocks. Place a redstone comparator coming out of the bottom dropper and put it into subtract mode. Out of this comparator, place a redstone repeater going into a block. To the right hand side of this block, place a redstone dust, followed by a comparator, and then another redstone dust. On the left hand side of the building block, place a redstone torch, facing into a repeater, and on the remaining block, place a tower of 3 blocks. On the middle block, place a further building block on the left hand side and remove the original building block. And then build a redstone torch tower by placing redstone torches on alternative blocks. This concludes the droppervator circuit. Next we will build the observer circuit, which triggers the dispenser. Go to the far side of the farm and place a building block next to the dispenser. Place an observer next to it facing up towards the sky. Place a building block underneath and a temporary one under that and one off to one side, then remove the temporary block. Place a repeater on this block set to 4 ticks. Place a temporary block off to one side and one on top and one to one side, then remove the temporary block. Place a temporary block on top and one to one side and again remove the temporary block. Place redstone dust on this block and this block. When the observer gets triggered, it will fire the dispenser. Place a moss block on the dispenser. Follow this by a row of building blocks, forming a row of 7 blocks in total. So that's 3 extra blocks on each side of the central moss block. Take stone and put 3 rows of 7 on either side, making it a 7x7 grid. If you don't have stone, you can use dirt, but don't use cobblestone, otherwise the farm won't work. Do this on both sides of the moss block. Go to the left hand side of the farm and using your building blocks, place a row of 7 blocks. On each end, place an extra block 1 block higher. Place a temporary block and then one to one side and form another row of 7 here. Go under the farm to the observer circuit and place a temporary block followed by 2 blocks in front of it. Place 2 repeaters on these blocks, each set to 4 ticks. Place a temporary block with one on top and a redstone torch on its face with a further block on top. Place 3 more blocks to the side with a temporary block on top. Place a top slab to one side and one above, and remove the temporary block. Place redstone dust on these 4 blocks and the 2 slabs. Back on top of the farm, place 7 trapdoors in this slot here. Then open each of them. Place water source blocks behind each of the 7 trapdoors. Taking building blocks, place a temporary block and then one next to it, and continue it across the top of the water source blocks. Place redstone dust on all of these and connect that up to the redstone line you formed earlier. Go to the far side of the farm and create an extra row of stone and building blocks like this. 3 stone, a building block, and 3 more stone. Place a building block at each end, with stairs facing towards the centre of the farm. Place a temporary building block and extend underneath between the 2 stairs. Place a building block on the side of each staircase. Place regular pistons between the 2 of them with a building block between. So that's 3 pistons facing towards the farm, a building block, and then 3 more pistons. In the centre, place a staircase. On the 3 steps, place a water source block. Go around the outside edge with building blocks. And place 1 more on the central staircase. Within these 2 slots, place lava source blocks. These will form stone. You can cover over the lava so you don't accidentally fall in it. Place a line of redstone dust on the blocks which are on top of the pistons. On the front face of these stone blocks, place an immovable object such as a furnace. An alternative could be obsidian. In the centre, place a building block, then on top of these, place a row of 7 building blocks. Go under the farm and into this face of the bottom dropper, place a hopper. Then into this side of the hopper, place 4 additional hoppers. On top of the hopper, at the end of the chain, place a composter with a hopper facing into its top. Next to the bottom hopper, place 2 additional temporary blocks. Place a composter on top with a hopper facing into it. Place a double chest against this face of the temporary block. Remove the temporary block and place a hopper from underneath the composter facing into the rear of the double chest. Take building blocks and infill the row in between these hoppers and also continuing along towards the end. Enclose around it as you're going to put water source blocks in there. Make it 2 blocks tall so that items don't fly over the edge. Go inside the farm and place a water source block at each end of the run you formed. Place a tower of 2 building blocks here with a lever on the face of the upper block. This is what you're going to use to turn the farm on and off. Place 3 redstone dust followed by a building block. Place 4 building blocks here and then 2 here. On this face of the block, place a redstone torch with 3 repeaters, each set to 4 ticks. Then place 2 redstone dust and 3 more repeaters, again each set to 4 ticks, back towards this building block. This will form a clock. You can turn it off by flipping the lever. At the end, place redstone dust connecting up to this line at the back. Finally, go under the farm and in the dispenser you'll need to place some bone meal to start the farm off. 5 bone meal should be sufficient. The build is now complete. To turn it on, flip the lever, but the first time you use it you have to manually bone meal the moss. The farm will generate its own bone meal to keep it running, whilst also generating bone meal for the player. We've been AFK for about 15 minutes, so let's see how much bone meal we've generated. 23 bone meal in 15 minutes. And that concludes this Roho the Cat tutorial on how to build a fully automatic bone meal farm. I do hope you have enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!